Hello, my name is Dominus Rael, and I thought it would be fun to read basically an outline or pitch that I wrote for the Supergirl movie on July 11th, 2025. After walking out of the theater, I sent this to a friend, so it starts off with like the message. It's framed as the message to the friend I saw the movie with. I didn't edit any of it because I wanted it to stay authentic to my voice on July 11th, 2025. I decided to write my own pitch for how I would make the Supergirl film based on what we saw of her and the very little known about the movie. So I was basically going off of the ending where she flips off Clark and all that, because I didn't really like that, so I wanted to fix it in my head. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, 2026, because that was the title at the time. Krypton, once revered as a utopian beacon of civilization, is reimagined as a brutal imperial force, closer to the Viltrum Empire than a planet of peace. In this world, Kara Zor-el, Supergirl, is no hopeful heroine. She was a child soldier, indoctrinated and deployed in Krypton's wars, personally involved in the subjugation of a minority race on the planet, raised to believe it was her people's duty to civilize the savage, inferior Kryptonian caste of Southern Kandor. Her father is among the regime's most ruthless generals. Kal-El was spared all of this. Sent away as an infant before Krypton's downfall, he was never conscripted, never forced to kill, never haunted by war. He knows only Earth, kindness, and the myth of Krypton as a noble civilization. Eventually, the United Galaxy rose against Krypton. In the final war, the Empire was destroyed. Before its fall, Kara was launched into space, not as a refugee, but as a final weapon, charged with subjugating whatever planet she landed on. She crash lands on a distant ice planet orbiting a red sun and is frozen in cryostasis for decades. When she awakens as a teenager, alone, clad in Kryptonian military armor, she is immediately hunted and forced to kill to survive. Outnumbered and powerless under the red sun, she reverts to her programming, but without her strength, she's beaten into submission and left alive as a living symbol of Krypton's defeat. Hated, feared, and broken, Kara begins to drink to numb the trauma. She enlists as a gladiator, fighting for credits in brutal arenas, desperate to one day earn a ship off-world. In her late teens, she reaches a bustling galactic spaceport. There, she hears whispers of Superman, of hope, a Kryptonian unlike any she's ever known. She meets a young alien couple who, unaware of her origins, show her rare kindness and offer her a ride to Earth. She leaves the bottle behind and accepts. They bond over shared orphanhood. She protects them. They become the first family she's ever chosen. Their journey is interrupted when they're ambushed by Lobo, Jason Momoa, a notorious bounty hunter.
"The galaxy paid me to finish what the war started,"
he growls. Kara fights him off and saves the couple, but when she returns, they've discovered her identity. They reject her in disgust. Survivors of a Kryptonian invasion that destroyed their homeworld, they see her not as a savior, but as the face of everything they lost. Silently, Kara picks up the bottle again and finishes both the journey and the drink, alone. Now flying under a yellow sun that restores her powers, but not her spirit. On Earth, Clark Kent embraces her with joy, hopeful, rambling about legacy and Krypton's nobility. Kara says nothing. She remembers the look in the couple's eyes, the look she never wants Clark to give her. So she smiles, calls him a biatch, leaves Krypto with him, and flies off to drink. Later, in an extended version of her Superman cameo, she returns to retrieve Krypto. Clark, having discovered the truth about Krypton through a hidden message from Jor-El, asks why she never told him. She deflects, makes a flippant remark, flips him off, and leaves again. Haunted by her past, and clinging to the hope her parents may have left her a message too, Kara sets course for the planet she grew up on after Krypton's fall. The arena, the prison, the place she barely escaped. Under a red sun once again, stripped of her powers, she navigates the bones of a broken empire. Lobo is waiting. She survives with nothing but a sword, cutting through the last remnants of Krypton's cruelty. Lobo escapes as the only survivor. In the wreckage of her ship, Kara finds a locked, encrypted file, possibly a final message from her family. While it decrypts, she travels to a neutral planet orbiting twin stars, one side bathed in yellow sun, the other in red. She finds a bar on the red sun side. No name, no question. She drinks. She waits. The file finally finishes decrypting. It plays. It's her mother, tearful and apologetic. I never wanted you to become a soldier. My father was the leader of the Kryptonian caste you were taught was inferior. I married your father only as a symbol of peace between the two factions, to end the Civil War. But soon after you were born, your father murdered your grandfather and crowned himself king of the South Kandori peoples. The citizens rebelled, and he trained you to exterminate them. I'm so sorry. I wanted to stand up to him, but the red kryptonite bracelet he gave me ensured I was powerless to stop him. I wanted to fight, but I was scared, and you paid for my weakness. I'm so sorry, Kara. I hope that you will hear this and know that you were never weak. You are always stronger than me. Our legacy does not have to be yours. You can break the cycle. I will always love you. Kara breaks. She cries. She drinks. She remembers Clark. She throws the bottle and rises, holding on to a fragile thought. Maybe I can be like him. Just as she moves to leave, Lobo returns, blocking the exit. She tries Clark's way. Words. Mercy. Peace. Lobo doesn't care. His people were wiped out by Kryptonians. This isn't a job. It's vengeance. They fight. Lobo, now armed with black market Kryptonian weapons, nearly kills her. She flees, bleeding and desperate, dragging herself to the yellow sun side of the planet, barely alive. Then her powers return. They clash in a brutal final battle. As buildings collapse and innocents scream, Lobo charges forward, indifferent to the chaos. In mid-fight, Kara diverts a killing blow, not toward Lobo, but to shield a fleeing child. This time, she chooses life over vengeance. She wins, sword in hand. She stands over Lobo's broken body. He spits blood and snarls.
You people can't change. You'll always be monsters.
She slams the sword into the ground beside his head.
This isn't over, Kryptonian,
he sneers. Kara walks back to the bar on the red sun side, bloodied and exhausted. She sits at the counter. I'll have a Jack Daniels, she says. She stares at her reflection, scarred, hollow, still breathing. Then softly, I'm a monster today. But maybe I don't have to be tomorrow. A single tear falls. She drinks. Credits roll. All right, that was the first time I've read that in a year. I didn't reread it before doing this. Darker Than I Remember, of course. Classic Dominus Rael. I really like it, though. And obviously that final line, I'm a monster today, but maybe I don't have to be tomorrow, would make the title Woman of Tomorrow be a reference to that line rather than like a comic. I've never read the Woman of Tomorrow comic, by the way. I've just seen the cover with the sword. So that was why it probably feels way different from the comic. But yeah, I personally really liked that. I think that's way cooler than some like Guardians of the Galaxy 4 movie. So I'm much happier with my script. When I wrote it at the time, I was like, I should send that to James Gunn, but I'm not going to send it to James Gunn because he's not going to make it. But that is what I would want to see. What would you What do you hope to see from the Supergirl movie? I think it's pretty obvious at this point from the trailers that that is not the movie we're getting. My movie didn't have Crypto or a little girl in it, so, and Lobo doesn't look like the main villain. But yeah, that was my take. Give your thoughts. Love you all. Peace.